Okay, you guys, I'm over here and I've boiled some water in a nice large pot here. This is on medium right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take, these are the things I've wrapped. I'm going to put all of them in here. And I am actually going to lower it a little bit because my stove, medium, seems to be higher. Okay, so I'm going to lower it to between medium and low. And I am going to make sure it's fully submerged. And I'm just going to recover it and check on it every once in a while, and set my timer for 30 minutes. So I will be back in 30 minutes and I'll let you see what it looks like. Okay, I've got about 7 more minutes before my fabric is done boiling, and I decided I should probably get my dye ready. The only problem with these instructions is it provides for dyeing a lot. Okay, so its example is two large t-shirts, and mine is nowhere close to being that big. So I really unfortunately have to guesstimate on this. Okay, so directions: shake well before using. So I'm going to shake that. Wear rubber gloves. So I will grab some rubber gloves, but I'm going to get this ready first. I need a cup of salt, and obviously I don't need a whole cup because I'm making a really tiny amount here. So this is 8 fluid ounces, and it guesses that for 2 large t-shirts you need half the bottle, so that's 4 fluid ounces. I'm guessing my cotton piece is about not even 1/10 of that, maybe less, but let's just say it's 1/10. That means I will need about 2 teaspoons of this, okay? I'm supposed to have an entire cup of salt. How much is I'm going to pour 1/10 of a cup of salt instead. Okay, so a 1/10 of a cup is about 5 teaspoons. So I'm going to do about 5 teaspoons of salt. It's actually a little bit less. That's a lot of salt, huh? All right. So that's 5 teaspoons of salt. And then, let's see. I know I'm supposed to also add 1 teaspoon of liquid dish detergent. So I need 1/10 of a teaspoon. And I'm gonna really have to just eyeball it. Okay, let's just say that's about 1/10. Okay, so now all I need to do is add the water. Okay, let's wait for this to stop boiling. Okay, that is my timer. It's been 30 minutes. Okay, and here is my fabric stew. Okay, don't try to consume this. Okay, so I'm going to turn this off now, and what I've done is, remember, I've made my little concoction here for the dye. I'm going to transfer some of this very hot water into the bowl over here. Okay, I'm using a ladle because it's very difficult to pour from this pot, and I don't want to burn myself. And I need to make sure I have enough water to submerge my cotton pieces. I've got 2 of them. Okay, I think that should be enough. That's good enough. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to mix that up first. And then I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons, maybe a little bit more of my dye. That's how I've calculated it out. We'll see if that actually works though. Okay, so I've stirred this. The salt has dissolved. And here is my dye. I've already shook it up. And I'm gonna put about 2. It's on the safe side. I'm gonna go ahead and put 3 teaspoons in there. This is the coral color, by the way, and again, this one specifically is for cotton. I've got my rubber glove on, just to make sure I didn't miss anything else in the directions. Submerge unfolded wet fabric into dye bath. Stir consistently for 60 minutes, or 30 minutes, sorry. So this one over here, let me grab, this one is just done boiling. Okay, this one. So I'm going to place that in there. And this one is the one that I did before. I'm still going to try to dye this one and see what happens. I know this one already fully dried, but I'm going to try to dye both of them and see what happens. Okay, so I am again going to be setting my timer here for 30 minutes. I am going to stir this. Stir consistently for 30 minutes or until desired color is achieved, up to 60 minutes. Okay. Fabric will look darker when wet and prior to washing. Rinse with rinse with cool water until rinse water begins to run clear. Wash in warm water with mild detergent by hand or in your washing machine. Okay, so I'm going to keep stirring this for 30 minutes. I'm going to move my other pot over here. This one, I'm going to move that to the other part of the stove, and I'm going to let that cool down. And let's check back. Okay, one thing, you guys, is I read that for Shibori, you only want to leave it for 5 minutes. So it's been about 5 minutes. I'm going to take one out. This is the very first one I made with the rocks. Okay. And just to see, to test things out, I'm going to leave this one in here for a little bit longer, and I'm going to take this out in another 5 minutes. Okay, so it's been another 5 minutes, and I think I'm going to take this one out. Sorry, yeah, another 10 minutes. Did I say 5? So this was in there for 5, and this has been in there for a total about 15 minutes. So we'll see if there's a huge difference between those. The other ones are still cooling down. So I'm gonna set this outside in the sun to dry. And once the other ones have cooled down, I will do the same. So these are outside drying, and what I've decided to do, just for fun, is I poured a tiny bit of straight dye into this spoon, and I wanted to pour just a little bit on this. Wish I should have brought my dropper, but I wanted to see what that might turn out like if I added direct dye to some of this. So I just did it on one, the other one I'm gonna leave without it. Let's see what happens.